In the heart of Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers carved a cradle of civilization, rose a kingdom that would shape the ancient world. Babylon, a city of myth and marvels, of gods and scholars, of kings and conquests. Today we journey through time to uncover the 10 greatest Babylonian kings, visionaries, conquerors, and tyrants who built and ruled one of the most legendary empires in human history. Let us begin where it all began. Sumu-abum, 1894 to 1881 BCE. Our journey starts with Sumu-abum, a relatively obscure figure by today's standards, but one whose legacy echoes in the very foundation of Babylon. Around 1894 BCE, this Amorite chieftain carved out a modest city-state in a world dominated by giants like Ur and Larsa. He didn't even call himself king of Babylon, not yet, but he laid the first stone, the humble beginnings of an empire to come. He ruled for just 13 years, but in those years, he planted the seed from which Babylon would rise. Hammurabi, 1792 to 1750 BCE. Next comes the most famous Babylonian of all, Hammurabi. The sixth king of the first dynasty, he is best remembered for his code, one of the earliest written legal systems in human history. But Hammurabi was more than a lawgiver. He was a brilliant general and a master of diplomacy. By the end of his reign, he had conquered Mesopotamia from Assyria in the north to the Persian Gulf in the south. Babylon, under Hammurabi, became the beating heart of civilization. His laws carved into stone, his city glittering in the sun, Hammurabi transformed Babylon into an empire. Samsu-iluna, 1750 to 1712 BCE. Hammurabi's son, Samsu-iluna, inherited a mighty empire, but also the burden of holding it together. Unlike his father, Samsu-iluna faced relentless rebellions and the rise of rival states. He lost much of the southern territory to a new force, the Sealand dynasty, yet he managed to preserve the core of Babylon's power and resisted collapse. His reign, though turbulent, proved that Babylon could survive even when the world turned against it. Kadashman-Enlil I, circa 1374 to 1360 BCE. After centuries of turmoil and foreign rule, the Kassites brought a new era of stability. Kadashman-Enlil was one of the brightest stars of this age. He reigned during a time when Babylon re-emerged as a cultural and diplomatic powerhouse. His court exchanged letters with the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten, and Babylon's influence spread far beyond its borders. Kadashman-Enlil balanced diplomacy and strength, presiding over a golden age of peace and reconstruction. Kurogalzu II, 1332 to 1308 BCE. Grandson of Kadashman-Enlil, Kurogalzu II proved that the Kassite kings were more than mere caretakers. He led Babylon in a fierce war against Assyria, scoring a dramatic victory at the Battle of Sugagu. His campaigns halted Assyrian expansion for decades. Kurogalzu II reinforced the walls of Babylon, restored temples, and reaffirmed the city's spiritual prestige. He wasn't just a soldier, he was a guardian of Babylonian tradition and faith. Nabonidus, 888 to 855 BCE. In the centuries that followed, Babylon fell under Assyrian pressure. But one man, Nabonidus, revived Babylonian pride. Ruling in the 9th century BCE, he restored the great temples of Marduk and brought cultural rebirth to a weakened land. His reign was peaceful yet defiant, standing firm against Assyrian influence. He re-established Babylon as a respected kingdom. He ruled not through fear, but through reverence for the gods and devotion to his people. Marduk-apla-iddina II, 722 to 710 BCE. Known to the Assyrians as Merodach-Baladan, this fierce Chaldean king dared to challenge Assyrian dominance. Twice he seized the Babylonian throne, defying the mighty Sargon II and later Sennacherib. Though ultimately defeated, Marduk-apla-iddina became a symbol of Babylonian resistance. He represented the indomitable spirit of a nation that refused to bow, and his name echoed in both Babylonian and biblical history. Nabopolassar, 626 to 605 BCE, the Assyrians fell, but not by chance. Nabopolassar, a general turned king, rose from the ashes to build a new Babylonian empire. He formed an unlikely alliance with the Medes and orchestrated the destruction of Nineveh, the heart of the Assyrian beast. In doing so, he founded the Neo-Babylonian Empire. His reign marked the beginning of Babylon's final golden age. Under his rule, Babylon no longer survived in the shadow of empires. It became one. Nebuchadnezzar II, 605 to 562 BCE. No king built higher. No king ruled longer. Nebuchadnezzar II was the pinnacle of Babylonian power. He led armies across the Levant, capturing Jerusalem and bringing home thousands in chains. But he also built the Ishtar Gate, the Hanging Gardens, if they existed, and the massive walls of Babylon. His city was the wonder of the ancient world, yet he was also feared by Jews, Greeks, in his own court. A visionary while you're a tyrant. History remembers him as both. Nabonidus, 556 to 539 BCE. The last king of Babylon was also its strangest. Nabonidus worshipped the moon god Sin over Marduk, shocking the priesthood. He left the capital for a decade, ruling from the desert oasis of Tema. Babylon grew restless. In his absence, a new power arose, Persia. When Cyrus the Great marched into Babylon in 539 BCE, the city fell without a fight. Thus ended Babylon's reign. Nabonidus was exiled, and the age of Babylonian kings came to a close. From Sumu-abum to Nabonidus, these kings built more than cities and empires. They shaped civilization itself. Babylon may have fallen, but its legacy still stands. Etched in clay tablets, immortalized in myth, and remembered in history. For thousands of years, the kings of Babylon ruled the cradle of the world, and through them, we glimpse the birth of law, of empire, and of greatness.